Hi Nana. We were learning the metallurgy lesson. Okay, in that we have studied the metallurgy of aluminium and metallurgy of zinc also. Now in this video we will learn about the iron metal. Okay, its ores, okay, its properties and also uses of the iron. Okay, so first of all we will see where this iron is available. So in the its nature of occurrence. See, iron actually it is a more reactive metal. It's a fairly reactive metal. As it's a fairly reactive metal, what happens? It does not occur in the free state. It does not occur in the. It never available in the free state in the nature because of its fairly active nature. It never available in the free state. Okay, then how does this iron is available? Iron is always available in combined state. That means the iron, atoms of iron, they combine with other types of atoms and form compounds. That means always iron is available in compound form in the combined state. So in the combined state, iron is available. Main ores, if you speak about the ores of iron, so hematite, its formula is Fe2O3. Okay, it is it's called as iron 3 oxide because iron is in the form of +3. So here iron is in the form of +3, hence it is called as iron 3 oxide. Okay, next is hydrated iron oxide. Hydrated iron oxide, that means Fe2O3 dot H2O. So it is hydrated oxide of iron. Okay, so it's called as iron 3 oxide, hydrated iron 3 oxide. This is iron 3 oxide and this is hydrated iron 3 oxide. Okay, next is magnetite. The formula of magnetite is Fe3O4. Fe3O4. Actually, it's a mixture of ferric oxide and ferrous oxide. Okay, it's a mixture of ferric oxide and ferrous oxide. Hence, it is also called as ferroferric oxide. It is called as ferroferric oxide because it's a mixture of ferric oxide and ferrous oxide. So that means iron 3 oxide and iron 2 oxides. So here iron is present in the form of +3 and here iron is present in the form of +2. So it is also called as iron 2,3 oxide. Okay, iron 2,3 oxide. Or else tri-iron tetroxide. The next important ore of iron is iron pyrites. Iron pyrites, so it is iron disulfide. but this particular ore, it is not useful. So we cannot extract iron. The extraction of iron from this ore, it is somewhat economical. That means it is a costly thing. So it involves a large amount of investment. So that is why the extraction of iron from iron pyrites, it is somewhat not preferable. And one more thing. So this if you extract iron from these iron pyrites, it will cause more environmental pollution. So that is why, so the preference is given, less preference is given for this ore to extract iron from this iron pyrites, okay, particularly because it releases so many pollutants into the atmosphere, and it spoils or else it pollutes the environment. Okay, the next is spathic iron. Spathic iron. Spathic iron is nothing but ferrous carbonate. So it is ferrous carbonate. So iron is present in the form of +3, +2. Ferrous carbonate. Okay. So these are some of the important ores of iron. Okay. So there are so many other minerals also, but we are discussing about the ores only. Okay. We cannot list out all the minerals of iron. Okay. So no need of listing out of all the minerals of iron. So these are main compounds or else main ores of iron. Now, generally, if you speak about the metallurgy of this one, iron, see, first of all, we will concentrate the iron oxide ore. So mainly from hematite or magnetite we use, or else sometimes we use this one also, or else we may use even spathic iron also. So whatever the thing it may be. So if you use spathic iron, it should be converted into oxides. So these are oxides of iron. So this should be converted to oxide. Generally, carbonates, metal carbonates are converted into this metal oxides by the process of calcination. Upon strongly heating the metal carbonates below its melting point in the absence of air, what happens? That metal carbonate will convert into metal oxide. Okay, right, okay. Whatever thing it may be. So this metal oxide, after concentration of the metal oxide, after the process of concentration, so that means concentrated metal oxide, that means here iron oxide. Okay, this concentrated iron oxide, actually it is treated with coke. It is mixed with coke. Coke means carbon, and also silica. Lime. It is also mixed with lime. Lime means calcium carbonate or else calcium oxide. Calcium carbonate or calcium oxide. So now this concentrated ore is mixed with coke and lime. Okay, and it is heated to very high temperatures. Okay, in a furnace known as blast furnace. Okay, so here, so what happens? Reduction of this ore takes place during this process. If you heat in blast furnace, a special type of furnace known as blast furnace. So in blast furnace, blast furnace, okay, this iron oxide, reduction of iron oxide takes place. And finally we'll get this iron. We'll get the iron metal. So iron oxide is it is reduced to iron metal, which is available in molten state, and it is called as cast iron. Okay, the iron which is obtained from the concentrated ore in the blast furnace, it is called as cast iron. Okay, it is also called as, now this cast iron, when it is taken out from the blast furnace, then it is called as pig iron. Both are same, cast iron or pig iron. Okay, cast iron is also called as pig iron. Now this cast iron or pig iron, so it is having some impurities. It is not the pure form of iron. It is having impurities. So most impure form of free iron is cast iron. Most impure form of free iron. So this iron, this cast iron, it is purified and will get pure iron. Okay. So the most impure form, it is the most impure form because it is having so many impurities like a carbon, nickel, chromium, manganese, carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, okay, manganese, etc. So most impure form of free iron, most impure form of free iron, not combined iron, free iron. So most impure form of free iron is what? Cast iron or pig iron. So actually, if you see the composition of this cast iron, it contains iron from 85% to 95%. Okay, that means it contains 85% to 95% of iron, and all other the rest of the this cast iron, it contains impurities of like a carbon, phosphorus, silicon, manganese. So this carbon impurities, it is present from 2.5 to 5%. Okay, this silicon impurity is present around 0.5 to 5%. Okay, even so here this is phosphorus. So phosphorus is somewhat less, 0.02 to 2%, and silicon is 0.5 to 5% of silicon is present, and manganese, it is present in very least amount, 0.2 to 1%. So depending upon the area from which this cast iron or else this ore is mined, so depending upon the area and the nature of that the environment, so this cast iron, the cast iron which is obtained in the blast furnace, so it may contain these impurities. Okay, these impurities in different percentage. So generally the percentage of carbon will be in the range of 2.5 to 5%. Manganese will be in the range of 0.2 to 1%. Okay, like this. So hence this iron, it is not a pure form of iron, and this is most impure form of the iron. Most impure form of the iron. Okay, almost the pure form of iron is called as a wrought iron. Okay, so we will learn about the wrought iron also. For time being, just as we are learning about cast iron, so we will discuss some more points related to this cast iron. Okay, see, actually this cast iron, so these are all impurities. These are all impurities. Now, now this cast iron, it is hard and brittle. Hard and brittle. What is the meaning of brittle? Brittle means if you beat that metal, it breaks down into pieces. Okay, if you beat any material, if it breaks down into pieces upon beating, then it is said to be brittle. Okay, some materials, they won't break down upon heating. Upon beating, some materials, they won't break down. Instead of breaking down, they expand. Okay, or else they'll become thin sheets. Okay, then they are not said to be brittle. So which one is brittle? The one which will break down into the pieces upon beating it is said to be brittle in nature. Okay, so that means this cast iron or pig iron, it is brittle in nature. And one more thing, it do not rust easily. It do not rust. Okay, do not rust easily by moist air. It do not rust easily by moist air. Generally, a rusting of iron takes place in the presence of moist air. Okay, in the presence of moist air, rusting of iron takes place. But here, this cast iron, it is having some impurities like carbon, manganese, okay, etc. So what happened? These impurities, they prevent the rusting of iron. So that is why cast iron, it do not rust easily by the moist air. So if moist air is present, generally iron gets some rusting, but this cast iron does not rust easily. So that is the nature of cast iron, because of the presence of impurities. So these impurities will form a coating, or else they will prevent the rusting of this cast iron. Next, see, if you see the melting point of this cast iron, the melting point of this cast iron is 1200 degrees centigrade. Okay, so actually about 1200 degrees centigrade, it is about 1200 degrees centigrade. Sometimes it may vary because there are impurities. So due to the presence of here, the impurities amount may vary. So when the impurities amount varies, then the melting point of this cast iron may change to a little bit. Sometimes the nature of the impurities also will vary. So then the melting point of this cast iron will vary a little bit. So here we can say that the melting point of cast iron is about 1200 degrees centigrade, and which can vary because it is not a pure form. As it is not a pure form, it does not have sharp melting point. Any substance, if it is in pure form, then it will possess a sharp melting point. But this cast iron, it is not a pure form, it is a mixture, it is having some other substances also. So a mixture does not possess a sharp melting point. The melting point of the mixture will vary depending upon the amount of the impurities present in it, and also the nature of the impurities. Okay, right. Next, the most important thing is uses of this cast iron. Uses of cast iron. See, from the ore we will get impure iron metal. That impure iron metal is called as cast iron or pig iron. Okay, now we are going to learn the uses of this cast iron. So CAST, sorry, I wrote CASTE, but actually it is EAST. By mistake I wrote. So use of cast iron. If you see the uses of cast iron, so generally this cast iron, it is most important. So it is used in manufacturing of steel. In the manufacturing of steel, so steel is manufactured by using this cast iron. Okay, and also it is also used to make immovable parts. Okay, to make immovable parts of the machines. Immovable parts, because as it is brittle, what happens, it will break down. If you apply large amount of force, then that part may break down. So that is why, so those parts which we don't generally move, so those immovable parts, okay, immovable parts of machines are made from cast iron. So movable parts cannot be made from cast iron because they may break if some force is applied on it, because cast iron is a brittle iron. Okay, next, it is used in the manufacturing of manholes. Okay, manholes. Okay, manholes covering. Manholes means here manholes covers. Manholes covers are made from this cast iron, and also ornamental gates. That means the gates which are decorated, I mean we can easily decorate with the help of this cast iron. Okay, ornamental gates and railings. It is used in railings. Okay, and also it is used in grocers' weights. Okay, groceries weight. Okay. So like this in making groceries weight. So like this, etc. So these are some of the use of cast iron. Okay, right. See, why cast iron? This is actually these steel iron. Why cast iron is used in the manufacturing of steel? Because this iron cannot rust easily. So why this cast iron is having that much importance to I mean it can be used in these cases. So here because of its nature. What is its nature? Because of it is resistant to as it is resistant to what? Resistant to corrosion. What is the meaning of corrosion? So corrosion is nothing but damaging of metal. The damaging of metal layer by layer on its surface. Okay, so it is called as corrosion. Generally, corrosion, different metals will have different names for corrosion. For example, iron. The corrosion of iron is called as rusting. Okay, corrosion of iron is called as rusting. So actually this cast iron resists for corrosion. That means it does not rust easily. So even when molten cast iron, if it is solidified, if molten cast iron, if molten cast iron is solidified, what happens? It expands. It expands. Generally, molten when a molten metal is solidified, generally that molten metal will contract. It will become smaller in size, or else it contracts. But here this cast iron, it expands upon solidification of this this molten cast iron. So that is why, because of these natures, as it is having these particular natures, so this cast iron, it can be used in a manufacturing of these things. Okay, right. Next, the most important thing is how to convert cast iron into steel. Conversion of cast iron into steel. So we will learn about that one. Because cast iron is used in the manufacturing of steel, so how the cast iron is converted to steel? So this process is said to be Bessemerization. 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 Or else Bessemer process. Bessemer process. Bessemer process. Bessemer process. So here, the conversion of cast iron into steel. So it is called as Bessemer process. So in Bessemer process, we use a container known as Bessemer converter. Bessemer converter. So this is what? This is a container. Bessemer converter. So inside the Bessemer converter, the cast iron, it is converted into steel. Okay. What is steel actually? Steel is an alloy. Steel is an alloy of iron and carbon. Iron and carbon. Okay. Generally, this carbon is around 0.1 to 5%. 0.1 to 0.1 to 1.5%. 1.5%. In cast iron, the amount of carbon is more. But when cast iron is converted into steel, the percentage of carbon will decrease. Okay, in cast iron, the amount of carbon percentage is from 2.5 to 5%. But in steel, the carbon percentage is less, from 0.1 to 1.5%. So during the process of Bessemerization or else Bessemer's process, what happened? The percentage of carbon is reduced and also other impurities are removed from the cast iron. Okay. See, actually, when little amounts of some metals like added manganese or chromium or nickel or vanadium added to cast iron, it imparts certain special properties. See, actually, to this cast iron, suppose little amounts of metals like chromium, manganese, vanadium, nickel. Okay. So like this. Okay. If these metals are added to cast iron, what happens? It imparts certain special properties to this cast iron. So these metals impart certain special properties to cast iron. That means when these metals are mixed with cast iron, so now that cast iron will show some special properties. Okay. See, now let us discuss about the process of Bessemerization or else Bessemer process. So in Bessemer process, we use a structure, okay, known as Bessemer converter. Actually, it is a furnace because large amount of heat is produced inside this container. Okay, it is called as Bessemer converter. So if you see the Bessemer converter, it is a pear-shaped structure. It is a pear-shaped structure. Okay, it is a pear-shaped structure. Pear-shaped means like a gada. So this is known as pear shape. So generally it is like that. It looks like that only. So generally it is said to be a pear-shaped structure. Pear-shaped furnace. It is called as it is furnace. What is the meaning of furnace? Furnace is the structure. Furnace is the structure where higher temperatures are created, or large amount of heat is produced. Okay. So actually, if you see the height of this one, it is from 15 to 18 feet. 18 feet height. 15 to 18 feet tall, or else 15 to 18 feet height. Okay. And this is made up of steel plates. So these are all what? Steel plates. So this Bessemer converter, it is made up of steel plates, and inside the steel plate there is a lining. So inside the steel plates there is a lining. Okay, see here, this lining inside the steel plates, you will find a lining. So this lining may be by silica lining or lime lining. So the lining. So here this Bessemer converter contain lining inside. Okay, inside there is inner lining. So this inner lining, it may be made up of either silica. It is made up of either silica, or else it may be, the lining may be made up of either lime means calcium carbonate or calcium oxide. Okay, see, actually if silica lining is present, then it is called as acidic lining. If a lime lining is present, so if we may this Bessemer converter may have either a silica lining or else a lime lining inside this one. So lime lining, if it is having lime lining, then it is said to be base lining. Base lining. Okay, acidic lining or else base lining. See, when this acidic lining is used, if pig iron, actually this is what, this is the pig iron or else a cast iron. Okay, now actually we will pour the cast iron into this. So if this pig iron or cast iron, it is not having phosphorus impurities. Sometimes cast irons may not have phosphorus impurity. So if pig iron is free of phosphorus impurity, that means if phosphorus impurity is absent, then in that case we use Bessemer converter having inner lining of silica. Suppose if phosphorus impurity is present in this Bessemer, in this pig iron, if there is phosphorus impurity, then we should not use the silica lining Bessemer converter. We have to use the Bessemer converter having lime lining. Okay, that means base lining. So when this base lining is used, if phosphorus impurity is present, in the pig iron, okay, if phosphorus impurity is present in pig iron, so now in that case we have to use lime lining. Okay, so that means the inner lining, that means Bessemer converter contains inner lining. It may be made of silica or else it may be made of lime, depending upon the presence of phosphorus or not. So if phosphorus is absent, we will use silica lining. If phosphorus is present as impurity, then we will use lime lining. Okay, right. Next, see, actually this is called as there is a rod, so it will this Bessemer converter will hang to this rod, and this is called as a trunnion, trunnion. So actually this Bessemer converter will tilt on this trunnion. So this actually it is in vertical position, so it may be made into horizontal position. So vertical position where we convert into horizontal position, or else again vertical, again horizontal. So like this we can rotate, or else we can tilt the Bessemer converter. Okay, so the Bessemer converter is tilted or rotated on trunnion. Okay, this special type of arrangement is known as trunnion. So actually this Bessemer converter, it is mounted on trunnion, so about which it can tilted or rotated. So that means this is called as Bessemer converter. So it can be rotated or else it can be tilted on trunnion. And here, so at the bottom of the this Bessemer converter, there are known as tires. So these tires, through these tires, will supply hot and compressed oxygen. So there is an arrangement known as tires. So through these tires, so here there are openings. These openings are called as tires. So through these tires, so we will send hot and compressed oxygen. What type of oxygen? It should be hot and it should be compressed. Hot and compressed oxygen is sent into this Bessemer converter through these openings known as tires. Okay, so now the oxygen which is entering here into this one, okay, it is hot and it is very hot and compressed. Okay, now when this oxygen, actually this Bessemer converter, so it is in vertical position. So first we have to tilt this Bessemer converter into horizontal position. Tilt that Bessemer converter into horizontal position, and after tilting it, we have to pour molten pig iron. So actually the temperature of molten pig iron is at 1200 degrees centigrade, nearly 1200 degrees centigrade. So we learn about the process of Bessemerization. So actually in the process of Bessemerization, first of all, we have to pour the pig iron, or else molten cast iron, pig iron, or else molten cast iron into this. First this Bessemer converter, it is tilted horizontally, and into this we have to pour what? We have to pour molten pig iron, or else molten cast iron. Okay, next the temperature of this molten cast iron is around 1200 degrees centigrade. Now after pouring the molten pig iron cast iron, again it is brought back to its vertical position. Okay, so only while pouring molten pig iron we have to tilt into horizontal, and after pouring we have to tilt again back to its vertical position. Okay, next after pouring this one, a blast of oxygen. So because hot and compressed oxygen, it is blasted means with pressure. So it is sent into this one in the by blasting means by sending oxygen with force, or else with pressure. So this oxygen, when the blast of oxygen is passed through it, so oxygen reacts with the impurities present in the cast iron. So here this cast iron is having impurities. So now this oxygen is sent into this one, blasted. Oxygen is blasted into this one. So now this oxygen, it will react with the impurities. It does not react with the iron. It reacts with the impurities. Okay. So the reactions can be, these impurities can be classified into two types. The impurities in the cast iron. Impurities in the cast iron. There are these are two types: volatile impurities and non-volatile impurities. What is the meaning of volatile impurities? The impurities which can easily evaporate, or else which can convert into vapor easily, are said to be volatile impurities. Non-volatile impurities means they do not convert into gases, or else they do not convert into vapor. They remain inside the Bessemer converter only. So such impurities are said to be non-volatile impurities. Volatile impurities. See, generally the carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, silicon, so these are volatile impurities. So they generally, what happens, this oxygen, the hot compressed oxygen, when it is sent through the tires into the Bessemer converter, what happens, this oxygen will react with the impurities present in the pig iron. So and what happens? This oxygen will react with the impurities and convert these impurities into vapors. If oxygen is reacted with the volatile impurities, then these volatile impurities, they are converted into gases and they are removed. They will escape. Okay, they will escape. Okay. See, this carbon reacts with the oxygen to form carbon dioxide initially, and this carbon dioxide further reacts with the coke, okay, and convert into carbon monoxide. So which gas is evolved from this one? So carbon monoxide is evolved. Little bit of carbon dioxide also evolves, but here mostly the carbon is converted into what? Carbon monoxide. So here carbon monoxide, it will form flame because it is very hot. So hot carbon monoxide, when it is entered into the atmosphere, what happens? It produces flame. So flame produced from burning of carbon monoxide. So this carbon monoxide, so actually this is carbon monoxide formed inside the Bessemer converter, and it will escape through this opening, and here the burning of carbon monoxide takes place. Due to this, some flames are produced. So always you will find a production of flames. So it is very hot because you will find fire here. Flames are produced by the carbon monoxide due to burning of it. Okay, next is sulfur. Sulfur will oxidize or else will burn into sulfur dioxide gas. Okay, and even sulfur dioxide gas also will escape through this opening. Phosphorus will convert into phosphorus pentoxide. Okay, phosphorus will convert into phosphorus pentoxide. Silicon will convert into silicon dioxide. Okay, so these are all volatile impurities. So they will escape from this Bessemer converter into outside, into the atmosphere. Okay, now if you speak about the non-volatile impurities, see non-volatile impurities like manganese. See, this manganese reacts, even volatile impurities will react, and non-volatile impurities are also will react with this oxygen and convert these impurities into their oxides. So manganese is a non-volatile impurity. It is converted into manganese dioxide. Okay. Manganese monoxide. So this manganese monoxide, what happens? Actually here sand is present. Sand is a non-volatile impurity. So that sand means what? Sand is nothing but silica. Silica will react with this manganese monoxide. So actually manganese is converted into manganese monoxide, and this manganese monoxide will react with the silica and form manganese silicate. Manganese silicate. And even this some of the iron which is present, some of the iron also will get oxidized into ferrous oxide, and that ferrous oxide, some of the iron will get oxidized, and that ferrous oxide will react with the silicate impurities to form ferrous silicate. Okay, and lime. So even lime, some of the lime is also react with the silicate to form calcium silicate. So these are all what? These are all the impurities. This is called as slag. This is called as slag. And these are what? These are all what? These are all impurities. These are all impurities. Okay, now this silicon dioxide will react with these impurities and convert these impurities into slag. Okay, so now this slag, it is a non-volatile. It remains in liquid form because of very high temperatures inside it, inside this converter. So this slag, this material, they occur in the molten form. So that means they being lighter in weight. So because of its light in weight, what happens? They will float on the molten pig iron. So this is molten pig iron. Above this molten pig iron, you will find a layer, very thick layer of slag, which contains these non-volatile impurities, silicate impurities. Okay, so this is called as slag. See, the gases formed from the volatile impurities as well as the slag formed from the non-volatile impurities, they are blown out of the nozzle of the converter. So this is called as nozzle or opening. So from this nozzle or opening, what happens? All the gases, they are thrown out. Okay, so even this slag also will be thrown out. Okay, even slag also, it will be blown out. Because of very high temperature, what happened? This even this slag as well as the gases which are formed, they are blown out of the nozzle. So carbon monoxide, here in this gases, carbon monoxide is there. So carbon monoxide catches fire and burns with a bright flame at the nozzle. So you will find very bright flames at the nozzle. Nozzle means opening. So at this opening you will find bright flames. These flames are due to burning of carbon monoxide. Okay, at the nozzle. See this bright flames. See, actually carbon monoxide is burning, but it burns brightly. Why it burns brightly? Because of the presence of small amounts of carbon and the slag in the outgoing gases. So in these outgoing gases, so little amount of slag and little amount of carbon specks means little amount, small pieces. Okay, some specks of carbon and slag is also present in the outgoing gases. So that is why the outgoing gases will burn with a bright flame. Right. So when the flame at the nozzle of the converter dies, afterwards, after some time, what happens? This flame, when all the impurities are converted to gases, and after all the gases are escaped from this nozzle, what happens? This flame will die. After some time, the flame does not continue, because when all the impurities are removed in the form of gases and slag, what happens? There won't be any further formation of flame above this nozzle. So now it indicates what? It indicates that impurities are removed. So when this flame is died, that means when the flame is not formed further, so it indicates that all the impurities are removed from this cast iron. Okay, from the molten iron, also this cast iron. So at this stage, the supply of is cut off. So now what we have to do? So when flame is not running, when there is no flame, the flame is disappeared or else flame is died, then we will stop the flowing of oxygen. So we have to remove the flow of oxygen. We'll cut off the flow of oxygen into this Bessemer converter. Now after cutting off oxygen, what we have to do? We have to add some amount of spigel. You have to add some amount of spigel. So actually, now all the impurities are removed. Now this cast iron is free of impurities. So now what happened? We have to add some spigel, a material known as spigel. What we have to add? Spigel. Spigel is nothing but it is an alloy of carbon, manganese and iron. It's an alloy. Carbon, manganese and iron. So after the removal of all the impurities, now we have to stop the supply of oxygen. Okay, and we have to add a little amount of spigel. Okay, so that means spigel, depending upon the amount of cast iron. So there are some calculations. So we have to add the spigel in calculated amounts only. Okay, so we have to add calculated amounts of spigel. So now what happened? The blast of oxygen is continued. After addition of this one, again we will send oxygen. Again we will send oxygen, blast of oxygen. Okay, it is continued after addition of Spiegel. Okay, now what happens? This alloy, the Spiegel which is added, so it should melt. The Spiegel which is added, the alloy which is added, so it should melt until the melting of that alloy and mixes with the iron. Okay, to form steel. So what happens? This Spiegel, the substances which are present in the Spiegel, okay, they will melt and they will mix up with the iron. Okay, now they will, what happen? They will melt and what happen? They will mix up with the iron. Already iron is present in the molten form. So now and they mixes with the iron. Now this is called as steel. Now it is called as steel of steel having desired. So little here the amount of carbon will bring hardness to that steel. So the hardness of the steel depends upon the amount of carbon present in it. Okay, so that means after removal of impurities we have to add Spiegel. Spiegel, it is an alloy of carbon, manganese and iron. Okay, next we have to melt this Spiegel. So to melt this Spiegel, again we have to supply oxygen. So when Spiegel is melted, what happens? It will mix up with the iron and that mixture is said to be steel. That steel is having desired amount of carbon. So now the molten steel is poured out in molds where it is allowed to cool. So now stop this process, stop supply of oxygen. Okay, and now this is molten form of steel. So now it is taken out into different containers, or else that molten steel, so it can be made into molds, molds of different shapes, or else this molten steel, it is molded into different shapes. When it is in molten state only, it should be molded. Okay, the steel which is produced here, it should be it should be taken in molds. Okay, now we will get a steel of different molds. So in this way we will get a steel from the cast iron. So now we will learn different varieties of steel in the next video.